It is without a doubt that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. It has even received DLC in the form of the Booster Course Pass. Currently, Waves 1 through 4 have all been released, with Waves 5 and 6 yet to be released later this year. So, in this video, I will be predicting the remaining 16 courses that will appear in Waves 5 and 6. Also, this video is inspired by Albert Boris's prediction video, so go check them out. Before we delve into the predictions, keep in mind I will be talking about leaks in this video. A lot of leaks. So if you don't want spoilers on leaked tracks, then you may want to skip those parts of this video. I will be taking the various leaks for the DLC and will be using them to predict some of the courses, so the predictions will be based off the prefixes in the prefix leak and other leaks. Now, if you don't know what the prefix leak is, well, when Wave 1 was released, data miners found the in-game prefixes for all the upcoming tracks in future waves. This leak was confirmed when Wave 2's tracks were in the exact order that they were in the prefix leak. Wave 3, however, wasn't really that accurate to the prefix leak, since the developers rearranged some of the tracks, and also replaced Waluigi Stadium with Maple Treeway, since the remake for Waluigi Stadium wasn't ready at that time. And the same thing for Wave 4, where we got Waluigi Stadium instead of the GCN track we were originally going to get. So I'm going to be rearranging the prefixes for this prediction. 1 second, please. Okay, there we go. Also, keep in mind I didn't change the placements for the Tour City tracks or any of the upcoming Tour or 8 Deluxe Nitro courses. Also, there's the music leak. Basically, when Wave 2 was released, data miners found snippets of upcoming music from tracks that weren't in the past yet. Using this information, we were able to predict all of Wave 3's tracks, except for Waluigi Stadium because they swapped it out for Maple Treeway, but that track was also in the music leak. So yeah, and basically all of the upcoming city tracks are in this leak, except for the unknown new ones, that is. And then there's a banner. Data miners found some unused banner in the game's files when Wave 1 was released, and those banners had images of the tracks that weren't in the past yet. Examples being Sydney Sprint, DK Summit, even had Sky High Sunday, so I will also include that leak in this video. Alright, without further ado, let's begin the predictions. Starting off the Feder Cup, we have another city track. I don't think we will see LA Laps as the first track of the Feder Cup. Instead, it might be the last track, considering the last track of the Feder Cup is a Tour City track. So it's most likely going to be a brand new, unannounced at the time of this video, city track. Now, according to the Mario Kart Tour leaks, there are 2 upcoming city tracks. Well, 3 if you count the rumors about a certain city showing up because it was in the promotional banner for Mario Kart Tour. More on that later. Alright, here are the list of Dynamite Tour, Nitro, and City tracks. We have Mob YI, which is the new Yoshi's Island track that was released in Wave 4 and in the recent Yoshi Tour. And for the rest of the tracks, we have Mob AT, Mob MD, Mob MU, Mob NU, Mob DK, and Mob BR. Mob DK and Mob BR are speculated to be original Nitro courses, while Mob AT and Mob MD are speculated to be city courses. And as for Mob MU and Mob NU, those 2 are, well, I'll talk about those 2 later. So the 2 possibly upcoming city tracks are Mob AT and Mob MD. We can make a pretty safe guess that Mob AT is Athens, Greece, because it has pillar assets associated with it. Now, what about Mob MD? Well, I don't think this one is a city course at all. I see most people to say this is Madrid, Spain, but this course has tent objects, and what does tents have to do with Madrid? Pillars being in the Mob AT course makes sense because, well, Athens has pillars in real life. I find this to be similar to the Mob OR situation that happened in January. Let me explain. Back in January, when we were all speculating about Wave 4, there were 3 upcoming city courses in the files for Mario Kart Tour. The aforementioned Mob AT and Mob MD, and one more, Mob OR. Many people agreed that Mob OR must be Orlando, Florida, because other tracks like Amsterdam Drift and Bangkok Rush were dynamite before. And the internal names for those courses matched up with the names of the 2 cities. For Amsterdam, it was Mob A, and for Bangkok, it was Mob BK. And the other reason people thought we would be getting an Orlando City track is because Super Nintendo World was coming there in 2025. And while many people agreed it could be Orlando, me and many others were skeptical. And if they wanted to make another North American city track, they could have just made a city course out of New Orleans, or even my hometown of Toronto, Ontario. I remember predicting these 2 cities to possibly be Mob OR, but guess what happened? Mob OR didn't end up being a city, and instead ended up being Piranha Plant Cove. Plus, Mob OR had objects in this course that didn't make sense for an Orlando City track, like Pillar Mob OR or Dorm Mob OR, and those objects ended up being in Piranha Plant Cove. So I personally don't think we are going to be seeing a city course based off Madrid, but I'll talk about Mob MD a bit later in this video. As for the first city track of this wave, I predict it'll end up being the rumored Cairo track. Now, while there wasn't a data mined track pointing towards a Cairo, Egypt city track, if we look towards the banner of Mario Kart Tour, we can see some landmarks such as the Statue of Liberty, Big Ben, the Eiffel Tower, and even some pyramids. These monuments were hinting towards future city tracks. But wait, we have yet to see a city track with a pyramid in it. And what city is famous for its pyramids and ancient monuments? Cairo. So yeah, I'll be placing Cairo Crossroads as the first city track of the Federer Cup. That's what I'll be calling it. Next up, we have another GCN track, and for this spot, I'm going to predict JZ Cruiser. This track is pretty unique because it's set on a cruise ship, and it's on in Mario Kart Tour. And I feel like this would be the perfect GCN track for this wave, with summertime atmosphere and all that. And this track is pretty easygoing, and there has been a pattern for the second track of the first cup in a wave. Most of them have been quite simple and relatively easy. And I feel like this track might be complex, but it is easygoing, so it would fit as the second track of the Federer Cup. Also, we don't have a single Daisy themed track in this game, and even though Daisy Circuit would be cool, this track is 10 times better than Daisy Circuit, so hopefully we'll see this track in this wave. Next up, we have another Wii track, second last Wii track of this DLC. However, we have two candidates for the spot, Dry Ruins and Koopa Cape. Koopa Cape is a fan favorite track from Mario Kart Wii, and it's already in Mario Kart Tour, and it's also appeared in the banner league. And as for Dry Ruins, it has only been remade in Mario Kart Tour. So, between these two, which one will make the cut? I think it's going to be Koopa Cape. Well, the main reason is because it's in the banner league. And DK Summit was also in the banner league, and that one made it in Wave 4. So, yeah. And plus, Dry Ruins would be similar to Dry Desert anyway. Now, there's a small chance that we don't get Koopa Cape, but I essentially think it's confirmed because of the banner league. So yeah, Koopa Cape it is. I might be wrong here, just like how I was wrong about Airship Fortress in Wave 4, but I'm sticking with my gut anyway. For the final track of the Federer Cup, which is the city course, I think we'll be getting LA Laps here. Why? Well, there's something unique about LA Laps. Each variant has a different starting location, so that could mean that LA Laps could act like how Singapore Speedway had its third lap start in a completely different location, except here, every lap has a different starting location. I feel like it would make the most sense for LA Laps to be the city course at the end of the Federer Cup. Alright, moving on to the Cherry Cup. Now, the city track for this cup will most likely be the upcoming data mined Athens City track. I'm going to be calling it Athens Acceleration, and it's going to be placed in this spot. While writing the script, I had originally placed the Athens track as the last city track in Wave 6, but honestly, it would fit better in Wave 5. I feel like this city track would most likely take place either during the day or during sunset. Plus, it would be cool to drive or glide near the Acropolis of Athens, and also, I'm guessing we would see this track after the Yoshi Tour, but who knows. I'd see them releasing this track early, so Wave 5 would be a pretty good spot for this city course.
Hey, this is me from the future, and I'd like to quickly address something. So, as you all may know, Athens is confirmed for Mario Kart Tour. And if you don't believe me, here's the trailer. And then, hold on, let me quickly show you guys the postcard. It's right about here. So far, I will be making a video discussing my thoughts on this new track, but so far, it's amazing. And not to mention, this track has half pipes, a first for any city track. The only critique I have with this course is the name. I mean, Athens Dash, that's quite lame. They could have named it like Athens Avenue, Athens Autodrome, or even Athens Acceleration. But oh well, we should be happy with what we got in the end.
Next up, we have the final GBA track of the DLC, unless some of the unlabeled tracks in Wave 6 are placeholders. For the final GBA course of the past, I'm going to predict GBA Sunset Wilds. It's already in the Banner League and the Music League, and it's already in Mario Kart Tour. And also, the Music League specifically puts the track here in Wave 5. Although, it could be in Wave 6, but I don't know. Basically, this track is a Wild West themed track, just like Calamari Desert, but without the train. It has Shy Guys and the awesome gimmick of the sun going more down as each lap progresses. and once you get to lap 3, the sun has completely vanished and it is nighttime. The remake of Sunset Wilds will most likely be based off the Mario Kart Tour version, but I wouldn't mind that, since Mario Kart Tour's remakes are pretty good. Well, aside from GBA Sky Garden. Nonetheless, I'm excited to see this track in HD. Next up, we have the final SNES track. Oh boy. Many people agree that it's going to be Vanilla Lake because of that one advertisement in Coconut Mall, but that advertisement was also in the tour version of that track, so what difference does that make? Also, the Vanilla Lake tracks are just outright circles. That's it, they're just circles. Quite boring for Wave 5, and we have too many snow team courses in this DLC already. So, to find out what the last SNES track is, I'm going to be using Process of Elimination. Alright, let's begin. Obviously no SNES Rainbow Road, because we already have that in the base game. We already have an SNES Mario Circuit and a Donut Plains track in this game, so none of those either. Ghost Valley is way too similar to Boo Lake, and Choco Island is boring. Plus, we already have a better course, which is Choco Mountain in this DLC. While Koopa Beach 1 is boring, Koopa Beach 2 is actually interesting. However, I don't think we'll be seeing it because of Koopa Cape, which is also probably going to be in this wave. So, no Koopa Beach tracks either. So it may seem like we're going to end up with a Vanilla Lake course, but hold up now. We are forgetting the SNES Bowser Castles, and to be honest, I feel like we'd be more likely to get an SNES Bowser Castle over Vanilla Lake. Now, just take this with a grain of salt. I may be wrong here. I remember predicting GBA Bowser Castle 4, and I said there was a slight chance that we could get Riverside Park instead, and look what happened. So yeah, I'm confident that we will be seeing an SNES Bowser Castle in Wave 4. But to be specific, SNES Bowser Castle 3. I'm locking it in. If by any chance I get this wrong, then I'll make my profile picture a clown for a week.
Once again, as I am currently editing this, SNES Bowser Castle 3 has been announced for Mario Kart Tour, and holy crap, this looks amazing. It looks like it was made with the Booster Course Pass in mind. And, well, I think this basically kind of essentially confirms it. Since, I mean, you can't tell me this doesn't get into the Booster Course Pass. I mean, look at it. It looks amazing. It even has elevation. And the only other SNES track remake that has elevation is, well, Donut Plains 3, which was in the original game. But, oh my god, this looks amazing. I can't wait for this to be in Wave 5 or Wave 6, but I don't know. Take that, Vanilla Lake. The amount of times I struggled to pronounce Vanilla Lake is absolute pain, but yeah, I'm excited for this track.
For the last track of Wave 5, we have yet another Nitro track. So then, what could this be? Originally, I had predicted Mob NU in this spot back in January, and I even had a whole concept for the track. Here it is. The race starts at a beach at nighttime. Racers go straight and then take a left onto a boardwalk, and then jump off a ramp into the water, somewhat like Cheep Cheep Lagoon from Mario Kart 7. The drivers will pass by some Cheep Cheep, some coral reefs, some dolphins and other fish, before heading into an eerie and mysterious chasm, deep underwater. In the chasm, there aren't many things, besides item boxes, but there are eels in the chasm. The eels will creepily watch you as you drive in the chasm, and then the drivers will approach a sunken pirate ship, which they'll enter, and this is where the track becomes chaotic. Once the drivers enter the pirate ship, the moray eels start attacking the drivers from each side as they race through the sunken pirate ship. At one point, they reach a part of the ship where there's a treasure room, but as the drivers approach the treasure chest, a tentacle hits the area near the treasure chest. The drivers don't have to deal with just hungry eels, they also have to deal with a literal octopus. After the drivers catch sight of the octopus, they then turn right heading towards one of the pirate ship's cannons. They enter it and get blasted out of the ship, and then back onto the shore. They then take a left turn towards the starting line, and the track ends. I was going to call this track Creepy Chasms because of its possible ominous and eerie atmosphere, and that would have been it. And then, out of nowhere, we got Piranha Plant Cove, which is kind of similar to my concept, except that it has variations of itself, like city courses do. So yeah, I'm going to be placing Piranha Plant Cove as the final track of Wave 5, considering it might be a section-based course. Oh yeah, one more thing. Mob NU and Mob MU are just plain old test courses. Mob NU was probably supposed to be a test course for Piranha Plant Cove. Mob MU, however, I don't know what it was going to be used for. And that's about it for Wave 5. Now this is where things get difficult, and I mean real difficult. Wave 6. Now the thing is, there were originally two Wii tracks in this wave, Maple Treeway and an unknown one. Maple Treeway, however, got moved to Wave 3 and replaced Waluigi Stadium, or another unknown GCN track. So I think in Maple Treeway's original spot, we will be getting a GCN track instead. Anyways, the city track for the Acorn Cup, according to the Music Leak, will be Vancouver Velocity. I don't get why this track is coming out this late in the DLC, but oh well. Also, this track is most likely going to be the only city track with anti-gravity, considering how that bridge section of Vancouver Velocity is placed. Other than that, this is my favorite city track. I'm hyped for this track the most out of the remaining known city tracks. Next up, we have another GCN track. Now, I originally predicted Waluigi Stadium here in an older script, but that aged like milk, considering we got Waluigi Stadium Wave 4. So, what will go here instead? Well, in my original Wave 4 prediction, I predicted Dino Dino Jungle, so Dino Dino Jungle, I guess? I mean, it isn't Tour, and it could work in Wave 6. And to be honest, I feel like they would remake this track over DK Mountain, because we already have DK Summit in the game. And if we do end up getting DK Mountain instead of Dino Dino Jungle, it'll just feel repetitive, and it would be very similar to DK Summit. So, Dino Dino Jungle it is. Next up we have 2 Nitro courses. Okay, I think one of the Nitro courses in this wave might be a placeholder, because 3 Nitro courses in one wave seems far-fetched. So in this spot, I'm going to put the Mob DK track here. The name Mob DK could suggest it's a new Donkey Kong course, or I heard some people say this, but it could be a pipe themed course, because pipe in Japanese is Dokkan. Mob DK Mob Dokkan. It could still be a DK track. However, what piqued my interest the most were the assets. At first, I don't know what these could mean. However, I realized something. HP Board Mob DK and an HP Board Mob DKR actually could be half pipes. And there are already 2 DK related tracks with half pipes, those being DK Summit and DK Mountain, even though they added the half pipes in the Wii remake for DK Mountain. And also there's a Glide Floor Mob DK asset, so maybe there's going to be a gliding section of this track like DK Jungle. However, this track could end up being based off the original Donkey Kong game instead of Donkey Kong Country, like how the Yoshi's Island track was based off the first Yoshi's Island game, but we will just have to see what it ends up being. I'm leaning towards it being a Donkey Kong Country related track. I'd assume the music for this track would be a remixed version of this theme from Donkey Kong Country. And now, the last Nitro track. This one's quite a pickle. I originally thought this was going to be Mob MU, and that Mob MU was actually a stage track, that possibly being Mumbai, India, but nope. Mob MU, as I said earlier, is just a test track. So what else could it be? Could it instead be a placeholder? And that means we are getting one more GBA, DS, or N64 track? I mean, it's unlikely, but if it does happen, then we could get DS Airship Fortress for the DS track, Crappy Snowland for the N64 track, and GBA Cheap Cheap Island as the final GBA track. But I don't think it's going to be a placeholder. So what could we possibly see here instead? I'm not going to reuse my Creepy Chasms track concept, because we already have Piranha Plant Cove. However, I do have another track concept. Remember at the start of the video, I was talking about how Mob MD could possibly not be a city track? Well, I think I have a concept of what Mob MD could be. Introducing Mushroom Dunes. This track is set in an Arabian desert during either daytime or sunset. At the starting line, there are some tents with items such as tires, car parts, and mushrooms. Basically, this is a desert racetrack, considering we don't have that many desert courses in the Booster Course Pass. I could see us getting a Desert Nitro course, but maybe not. And now, we have the final cup, the Spiny Shell Cup. Let's begin the finale. Starting off, we have another unknown city track, the last one of the entire DLC. Now, any city could show up in Mario Kart Tour. Hong Kong, Mumbai, Mexico City, Rome, Brussels, Toronto, and Dubai, among others. We are overdue for a South American city track, so that's why I think we will be getting Rio de Janeiro as a city track. And to back my theory up, there's something called the ID theory. which is used to predict upcoming Mario Kart Tour courses. And as you can see here, there's a gap between Paris Promenade and Singapore Speedway, meaning we could get a city that starts with an R or a Q. Although, take this with a grain of salt, because this could just end up being Paris Promenade 4 instead. I think R is most likely, and seeing how we don't have a South American city track, Rio is likely. It could be Rome, but we have a bit too many European city tracks already. And Rio would fit as an epic finale city track for the Spiny Cup. Plus, as I said before, we are overdue for a South American city track, and Rio de Janeiro would just fit as the perfect one. Next up, we have our final GCN track of the DLC. Personally, I would want one more GBA track in this spot, but it makes sense we are getting 2 GCN tracks in Wave 6 due to the GCN track in Wave 3 being replaced by Maple Tree Way. Anyways, I don't know what the final GCN track could be. I mean, the logical answer could be DK Mountain, but I don't see that happening. So, once again, process of elimination. First and foremost, no GCN Rainbow Road. There's no evidence of it coming to the DLC, and we already have a Rainbow Road in this cup. More on that in a bit. Also, no Wario Coliseum, because we already got Waluigi Stadium. No GCN Bowser Castle either, because there's a chance that we would get SNES Bowser Castle 3 in the DLC. A huge chance. And no circuit tracks either. This is Wave 6. So these will go into the impossible category. Next up, we have the possible category. While I don't think we will be seeing DK Mountain in the DLC, there is a slight chance that it gets added over Dino Dino Jungle. GCN Peach Beach could happen, but I feel like they would bring back Daisy Cruiser over this, since we have no Daisy themed tracks in this game. And that just leaves us with the 2 Mushroom tracks. It's between Mushroom Bridge and Mushroom City. This one's also kind of a pickle. While Mushroom City hasn't got remade, we already have so many city courses in this game. And on the other hand, Mushroom Bridge has only been remade in Mario Kart DS. But its DS remake was so awful that I feel like they would bring it justice. I don't know which one it could be, guys. I feel like I want to predict both, but I honestly don't know. So I guess I'm just gonna predict both. But honestly, I don't know which one it could be. Oh well, whichever appears in Mario Kart Tour first would most likely appear. Next up, we have one more Nitro course left. So, what is it? Well, it's this. I'm not even kidding, it's a bathroom themed course. I'll put it here because I feel like it won't be just an ordinary bathroom course. Now, this could go 2 ways. This could either just be like centered around the Mario Brothers, like a Mario Bros themed track, or this could be a Bowser themed track. If this was a Bowser themed track, then some of the bath bombs could be shaped around Bowser and his troops, or there could be some Mecha Koopas roaming on the bath floor, or maybe even some Bowser statues spraying water at the racers. Well, I think I might have a concept for this track, but I'll probably share that for another video. Also, once again, take this with a grain of salt. This could just end up being a regular themed track instead of a bathroom themed course, but who knows? Well, the evidence for this track is mostly pointing towards a bathroom themed course, so that's what everyone's going for, including me. So yeah, it's possible that this track ends up being the second last course in the Booster Course Pass. However, time will tell. And now, we've reached the final track of the entire DLC. The final track of the Spiny Cup and the entire Booster Course Pass is a Wii track. And at this point, it's obvious. What track in Mario Kart Wii is the absolute hardest and is the finale to the Special Cup? And what Wii track had been added to Mario Kart Tour in January? That's right, the final track of the entire DLC is none other than Wii Rainbow Road. I mean, the first half of the DLC ended with 3DS Rainbow Road, and in the prefix leak, it showed that a Wii track would be ending off the entire Booster Course Pass. So it's fitting for a Wii Rainbow Road to end off the entire DLC. I loved playing this course as a child since Mario Kart Wii was my childhood. And as I mentioned earlier, this course came to Mario Kart Tour, although they split the track into 2 sections for some reason. Hopefully it'll be the regular 3-lap course in Mario Kart 8, and maybe with some new features added to the track. And I'm hoping when Wave 6 releases, this track will be among one of the best in the entire DLC. I can't wait for this track to appear in the DLC. I'm hyped for this and Vancouver Velocity. And that's about it. Those were my predictions for Wave 5 and Wave 6. I hope you enjoyed this video. This took a long time to make, considering I had to re-record some lines since I was reading from a script, and there were some times I messed up in the recording where I said something and sometimes it didn't sound right, so I had to re-record it. But yeah. If you liked this video, then a sub to the channel would be appreciated. And if you have your own predictions, comment below. And that's all for today. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.